Alright, so back in 2020, we got our first set of 9 chickens, and while only 4 of them remain, I'm gonna still be teaching you in this video the complete guide to raising chickens the right way, because I figure a lot of people wanted to see this video, because some people keep raising their chickens, making big mistakes that'll cut off eggs and just make them lay less eggs, make them lay shell-less eggs, and all that sort of stuff. So be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive right into this video. Alright, so the first tip that I'll give you to make sure that you're raising your chickens the right way is to make sure that you're not giving them an overdosage of one sort of thing. So you want to make sure there's plenty of abundance in their yard. You notice how this yard is pretty big, and also one thing about this fence, I can move it. It's not your ordinary fence. And if you look at the chicken coop, you see wheels. You want to know why? The chicken coop is portable to different areas, so if this area gets extremely like grass, or like the grass just goes like goodbye because of the chickens, they have a new area that could easily be moved to. Maybe the area isn't the safest though, I don't really know. This is the safest place for the chickens right now, at least. Another quick thing to note about that is that you also want to make sure that you're giving them enough calcium. If you're not, your eggs will be the easiest things in the world to break. As a matter of fact, about 3 weeks ago, I was bringing in the eggs as I was doing the chickens. This was when Mrs. Peepers and all those chickies were still alive, like back in early July. I got a couple eggs in my pocket, 2, both in each pocket obviously, and I was carrying the waterer. I slightly tapped it against one of the eggs, and that thing had a big crack in it. Do you want to know how lightly I tapped it? Very lightly. That's a sign that your chicken is not having enough calcium. You need to give them more calcium, specifically with oyster shells or with anything that has decent calcium in it. Your chickens will know when they need calcium, so I'd recommend setting up a calcium feeder, which is what we're currently working on getting right now. We have all the oyster shells and stuff, because they will automatically direct themselves that way. I always hear a lot of people say, when you put the chickens out in the pasture, just forget they exist until the night. That is the most utter wrong thing that you should do when you're raising chickens. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. You should be giving them as much attention as possible. This will actually limit the amount of predators that are able to get in here. Notice how I'm always out here in my chicken yard, or I'm out in the garden or out in the fields when I'm filming these videos, specifically because I'm talking so much, so that way I can scare off any predators, or at least keep them back there for a couple hours, because they hear me talking about chickens and they're like, yo, this dude is crazy, man. And yeah, I kind of am. So I will say these chickies are doing nice, because we're giving them constant attention, constant treats, and not only that, but these chickies are very well treated, and they are also easy to move to other locations. So if they need to, we can move them to a new location. So now let's move on to another quick thing. If you're noticing that your chickens are doing this really weird thing in like dirt, where they look like they are dead, they're shoving the dirt in the air, that is completely normal. That's actually hygienic for chickens. It's called dust bathing, and they bathe in the dust, and it actually helps them clean up. They typically do this for about 20 to 30 minutes per session, and I think they do this about 2 or 3 times a day. I'm probably a little bit inaccurate with those statistics though, as I don't watch my chickens every second of the day. But I will say one thing, they love dust bathing, and they will do it for sometimes hours on end if they really, really need to. Here's the thing. Sometimes people don't provide them with a good and sheltered area for dust bathing. This is a good example right here. You see this? You see this area right here? There's a really good spot for dust bathing there because it's well sheltered, and because dust bathing is when chickens are nearly at their weakest points, they are sheltered from any predators. Better yet, if you take 2 cinder blocks and place T111 siding over like we did a while ago, that not only can they dust bathe under that, but they can also use that as sort of a hideout. That is probably the coolest thing chickens do, and it's really funny. Now, a lot of people say build the chicken coop as if it was a house for the chickens. Yes, that is 100% true. You need to build your chicken coop like it is a house. You want to make sure you're adding all the proper components to it, or else guess what's going to happen? Haha, chickens, I'm going to take every single one of you. Let me go get my gang really quickly. So yeah, that's going to be not the funniest thing ever, no matter how funny I made that skit look like. But yeah, These chickens are going to be very safe if you know exactly what you're doing. So make sure that your chickens are safe in their chicken coop overnight and into the next day. Their chicken coop is where they spend the night and actually the majority of the day, because they sleep for, I'd say, probably around 8 hours. Although they do sleep with one eye open. Quick little fun fact there. So make sure your chicken coop is well secured, because at night chickens are at their weakest. So if like a bear goes in saying, hey, I'm gonna take all of you now, guess what's gonna happen? They're not gonna have anything to do about it. If a bear comes up to like this chicken coop, or if you watch any of my videos and you know how to build a chicken coop like this one, and a bear tries to knock it over, they're gonna be breaking their fists before they can even get into that thing. So build your chicken coop strong, and also build your yard strong. Build a nice, sophisticated yard, so that way they can't. So that way it takes a lot to break in. These coyotes probably put a lot of fuss into knocking over that fence, when they could really just jump over this thing. It's not even gonna be that painful if they land on it. Now another thing is the improper mixture of hens and roosters. You should only be having one rooster for every 10 or so hens. 10 to 12, I'd say. One rooster for every 10 to 12 hens is okay, because he has a lot of chickens that he can, I'll just say, attend to. So you need to make sure that these chickens are a suit for him. And for the love of God, please don't get this type of rooster. This is a green queen rooster. Get green queen hens. Those are really cool. Gray cloud, very fluffy chickies. Green queen roosters are extremely obnoxious. And not only that, but they also have the audacity to beat the crap out of you whenever they feel like it. So yeah, he is also probably one of the most egotistical roosters in recorded history. So make sure you do a quick little research, because a lot of roosters have a similar tone. The black copper marin roosters are the greatest possible, and actually in about a couple of days, I think, we're gonna be picking up a barred rock rooster for the other flock. So yeah, that's what I think is gonna end up happening. So make sure you're using the proper mixture of about 10 on 1. So you wanna say about 91% hens and 1% rooster. Now the final thing you must do for your hen's safety is to make sure that you know what you're feeding them. Goldfish is a great thing for chickens. Like, here, check this out. I'm gonna shake this. Look at how quickly the chickens came, even with a light shake. Here's a quick thing. Make sure you're doing research into what your chickens can eat, because you don't want to be feeding them a lot of poisonous plants. I will say, give them as much as you give them goldfish in their treat box every morning. I'd recommend giving them treats every morning, but also be sure to mix in some greens like salads, because they won't be able to find out laying around unless they infiltrate your garden or something like that. So those were all my tips I could give you. If you guys want a part 2 talking about how to raise even stronger chickens, I will be sure to reply to you guys. I'll keep you in the loop with my chickens. And also, I'm be posting a video just about every single day this month. So, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell around here, you know, that's how we're doing it over here. And I will keep everybody in the loop of the baby chickies and everything else. And I'll even make a video when we get the first egg out of there. It's pretty exciting, I know. So, like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.